So today we are supporting the Department of Disability Affairs within the Ministry of Public Service, Labour and Social Welfare, to capacitate the OPDs, the organizations of persons with disability, on the national budget cycle. So we have realized that Government of Zimbabwe sometimes do consultations on national budgeting, and many times our constituency or our organizations of persons with disabilities and even the institutions of special learning and higher education, they are not really aware how the national budget processing works. So today it's a more of training participants, the OPDs, the special institutions and other organizations on how the national budgeting is done. So this training covers the national budgeting cycle, which involves pre-budgeting, consultation and the formulation of the budgeting process. So today it's a 2-day meeting that we're having with our stakeholders and our participants for them to appreciate this process.
I'm glad to be facilitating this workshop on disability inclusive or disability responsive budgeting. We know that persons with disabilities are a key demographic in our nation. So 15% of Zimbabweans have got a form of disability. And when we look at the budget in terms of how the funds are being appropriated, it's very important that persons with disabilities also participate in the budget. So this workshop is important in terms of sensitizing persons with disabilities and their organizations about the budget calendar, the budget cycle, also some of the stakeholders that they can engage during the budget process. And if they've got any concerns, we are happy that we have the Ministry of Social Welfare, which is our parent ministry, or social development, and we also have the Ministry of Finance, so that persons with disabilities can understand what kind of allocations are made to them and how they can access funds that are provided by the government.
We are pushing for them to be understood. Number one, for instance, they were not part of the statements that we normally produced. So we are hoping that from this workshop, it helps them to understand that we can have a disability responsive budgeting statement which highlights what we provided in terms of resources specifically for the disability people, for the persons with disabilities, which we are for the previous years they were not part of the statements that we normally produced. Looking at the budget statement, looking at the gender budget statement, but we are hoping from this workshop the initiations are now going to take place for them to have a disability statement which highlights where the resources are being apportioned or where the resources are being provided, and especially on the tracking component to see how resources are being allocated and how resources are being utilized. I think that will enable and that will improve in terms of the needs or the priority areas.